When an HOA Karen burned my house, I burned her criminal empire with federal justice. The acrid smell of my torched home lingered in my hair as Bryn Ashworth Sterling strutted into my courtroom, oblivious to the legal storm awaiting her. As Judge Miriam Blackwood, I sat in my black robes, gavel in hand, staring down the woman who dared to commit arson against a federal judge. Her audacity made my blood boil, but Bryn had no idea she'd just walked into her own downfall. When you burn a judge's house, you'd better pray she doesn't get the chance to serve justice, because I was about to deliver a 5-course meal of legal consequences with a side of federal prison. This HOA tyrant thought torching my home would silence me. Instead, it ignited a fire that would dismantle her entire criminal empire. Every illegal fine, fraudulent claim, and intimidation tactic meticulously documented. If your destroyer handed themselves to you on a silver legal platter, what would you do? Let's dive into this brutal tale of revenge, where justice burns brighter than any fire. The backstory: a judge's sanctuary under siege 6 months before my house became a crime scene. I was Judge Miriam Blackwood, respected, feared by criminals, and shattered by grief. I'd just buried my husband Harold after cancer claimed him. Our 28 years of marriage were now memories preserved in our 1940s craftsman home in Pinewood Estates. Once a haven for blue-collar families and retirees, Pinewood had transformed with gentrification. Modest homes were replaced by McMansions, and property taxes soared, squeezing out longtime residents like Walt Henderson, who'd lived there since 1965. Enter Bryn Ashworth Sterling, the epitome of suburban entitlement. At 45, she drove a Tesla worth more than most salaries, sipped $20 smoothies, and aimed to elevate Pinewood by purging undesirables. My first run-in with her came while I was installing Harold's memorial fence, a 6-foot privacy barrier we planned together. As I worked, surrounded by the sweet scent of his prize roses, Bryn appeared, pink tape measure in hand, claiming my fence violated HOA rules by 2 inches. "Show me the regulation," I demanded. Her flustered search through her portfolio revealed no such rule because it didn't exist. My surveyor had ensured compliance, but Bryn's venomous tone betrayed her motive: revenge. 3 years earlier, I'd ruled against her husband's company, Sterling Premium Builders, for scamming an elderly veteran. This wasn't about offense. It was personal. She detargeted the wrong woman, a judge with 20 years of experience sentencing criminals and nothing left to lose. Bryn launched a psychological warfare campaign disguised as HOA enforcement. Certified letters arrived like clockwork, citing absurd violations. Harold's memorial stone was an unapproved garden feature. My mailbox was the wrong color, and my bird feeder where cardinals gathered in Harold's memory was a nuisance. Each demanded fines up to $500, threatening liens and legal action. As a judge, I knew Colorado's HOA laws inside out. Bryn's notices were riddled with legal holes. No bylaws supported her claims, and mandatory hearing procedures were absent. I spent evenings in Harold's basement office, surrounded by his law books, building my counterattack. I filed complaints with the Colorado Real Estate Commission and documented her illegal tactics with photographic evidence and spreadsheets. Then Bryn crossed into felony territory. Security footage caught her trespassing in my backyard, peering into my kitchen, and deliberately leaving my gate open. Hours later, her landscaping crew chased my 14-year-old cat, Gavel, Harold's final gift to me, with industrial leaf blowers. Gavel barely survived, his ribs broken and body traumatized. This wasn't harassment. It was attempted murder of my family. Bryn's fatal mistake was targeting a judge who knew how to weaponize the legal system. I upgraded my security, filed charges for unlawful entry and animal cruelty, and contacted Channel 7's Sarah Morgan, a journalist known for exposing corruption. Her investigation, Judge vs. HOA, Watchdogs Attack, revealed Bryn's systematic targeting of minorities, elderly residents, and anyone who didn't fit her suburban vision. The community erupted, with donations pouring in for legal fees and the hashtag Justice for GAVL trending. A retired FBI agent, Patricia "Pat" Donnelly, delivered the knockout blow. Pat revealed Bryn was a federal fugitive operating under stolen identities. With a history of embezzling HOA funds and staging insurance scams across 4 states, she'd stolen over $4 million, destroyed 15 communities, and was planning to burn my house for a $320,000 insurance payout. Her HOA presidency was a front to access community funds, and my harassment was a distraction from her crimes. Bryn's desperation peaked when she orchestrated an arson attempt on my house. Security cameras captured her crew planting accelerants and propane connections designed to make the fire look accidental. She even invited Channel 7 to the scene, claiming community safety concerns. While standing over her own planted evidence, Fire Marshal Jake Morrison spotted the setup immediately, calling it premeditated murder. When Morrison rejected her bribe, Bryn's empire began to crumble. Federal agents swarmed Pinewood, uncovering arson preparations at other properties. Bank records showed $340,000 embezzled from HOA funds, and insurance claims filed before the fire confirmed premeditated intent. Bryn and her husband were arrested in dawn raids, their assets seized under RICO laws. Charges included attempted murder of a federal judge, arson, fraud, and civil rights violations. It's enough for life without parole. 7 days later, Bryn faced me in court, her designer athleisure replaced by an orange jumpsuit. The charges: attempted murder, arson, RICO violations, and more took 4 minutes to read. Her public defender's plea for bond was laughed off. Bryn's 6 false identities and $4 million in theft made her a flight risk. When she accused me of a judicial vendetta, I calmly noted her admission of targeted harassment, sealing her fate. 2 years later, Bryn and her husband were convicted on all counts. She received life without parole. He got 25 years. Their $3.2 million in assets funded victim restitution across 4 states. Pinewood became a model community under new HOA leadership, with transparent bylaws and protections against future tyrants. The Judge Harold Blackwood Memorial Scholarship, funded by documentary and book sales, now supports students like Maria Rodriguez, who's heading to Harvard Law to fight for vulnerable communities. This isn't just my story, it's a blueprint for fighting HOA corruption. Document everything, organize your community, and never stay silent against bullies. Pinewood's triumph led to the Colorado Pinewood Protection Act and similar laws in 15 states, shielding millions from HOA predators. Share your HOA horror stories in the comments. You're not alone. Subscribe for more tales of justice, including next week's takedown of a corrupt tax assessor. Together we're building communities where justice prevails and tyrants fall.